we have had, as leaders, a lot of training in the area of diversity. And, different schools are at different places with this, but schools have done book studies around different topics and stuff. So I think that we feel lucky here in Rochester that our level of awareness is, I don't think you ever really feel like you're there with this topic, but it's something that we do embrace, we do recognize, and we try to incorporate it certainly in our teaching and in the experiences of our students. As part of our district, we have had quite a bit of diversity training. We started, I don't know if you've ever heard of Glenn Singleton and the work that he has done in the area of courageous conversations. And this is my first year at Bamber Valley, but I know they did a book study on that prior to my coming here. They have watched, there's a video series called The Color of Fear. They have watched those videos too. So while it isn't like a requirement that every teacher has to have, 4 hours of training in diversity or whatever. I mean, it is something that we do incorporate into what we do on a daily basis, because when we look at our classrooms and we see the diversity in our classrooms, we realize that we can't ignore that, and we have to teach our kids about that and, what they need to do, not only to just accept, but to respect others. So I don't really see that as a problem here, that we have kids from a lot of different backgrounds. When I take parents on tours of school, or our school, when they're considering, do I want to move to Rochester? Do I want my kids to come to Bamber Valley? I always tell them that I am so glad that we have the diversity that we do here, about 40%, so that our school community is reflective of the community at large. I would not want, any of our kids in Rochester schools to not have that experience. Because like if you go downtown, we have our Thursdays on First celebration in the summer, where every Thursday you can go downtown and it's people of Rochester. When we do that, we see our diversity in our community, and I wouldn't want those experiences to be the first time our students had that. Because they need to learn about other people, about other races, and how to get along and how to appreciate others. And I think that we always have more to do in that area, but I think that's the beauty of working with younger kids. I mean, you go into a kindergarten classroom and there are students of all races, and I really think at that young age kids don't really see that. They just see a friend, can I play with you, and will you sit by me, and can we share snacks and stuff like that. They don't really see that. So they just get along with everybody, and they don't let race be a deterrent to whether or not they're going to decide whether somebody is their friend or not. So we have to take that from a very young age and continue to nurture those relationships and help them see the importance of that. The Diversity Council comes to do workshops with kids, and it's good, but it's like a one-shot thing. They come in and they do one lesson and then they go. So I don't, it's great and it's a step in the right direction, but I think there's much more power if the teacher has that like as an ongoing thing. Or, today or this week we're going to be reading this story, and let's look at who the author, that was a Native American author, and let's talk about that. Or that was, written by a black author, and let's talk about their contributions and why would it be important for us to read literature from all different kinds of authors. It can't be like a one one-time thing. I mean, it really has to be ongoing. You know, we do some things like for February, Black History Month, but I mean, I guess in Rochester we're kind of more of the mindset that, you know, it's great to do some things specific to Martin Luther King Jr. and Black History Month, but that can't be the only time of the year that we're talking about that, because that's isolated and artificial. We should be looking at the contributions of people, you know, throughout our curriculum cycle and throughout our year, not just in February. I am thankful to be able to work with kids and to be a part of their shaping of, like you said before, you know, there's a certain point where kids make decisions about how they feel about people who look different from them and act different from them. And I'm glad to be a part of the formative years in their development of that, so that, you know, we can help kids get along and see the beauty in everybody and the strengths that everybody brings to the table, and really not just accepting other people, but really valuing everybody and what they bring and stuff. And to be a part of that conversation with parents a lot too, because I think, you know, some of our parents are more accepting than others, and it's good. I feel really fortunate to have the training that I've had in this, you know, courageous conversations about race. When, you know, somebody says, well, you know, I don't want my kids to be in, you know, the class with those kids, mm-hmm. You know, the hairs on your neck, you know, bristle and go up, and you think, oh, did you just say that? And then to interrupt that and to say, really, tell me more about that. You know, to not, you know, bristle or to do anything outwardly, but to bring in that conversation. I also feel like the training that I've had, I'm much more able to just confront racism, and you know, and I will ask people. I remember at another building I was at last year, you know, there was a Somali grandpa, and, you know, working with him, you know, his grandson had, you know, had a little bit of misbehavior. It was nothing huge, but, you know, working through it with him. And I just outright asked him, I said, what is it like to be a 60-year-old Somali man in Rochester? You know, tell me about your experience. And, you know, they kind of look at you and think, well, why do you want to know that? And I just explained to him that, you know, I'm learning and developing as an educator and as a human, as a resident of this very diverse city, and I want to know, what is your experience like, so that I can help other people and help your kids and your grandkids and stuff. So I feel fortunate that I've had the training that I've had.